If I could go back to my 20s, I wouldn't tell myself to work harder or never give up. I'd tell myself 28 brutal truths that no one warned me about, lessons that cost me years of time, energy, and peace to learn. If you're in your 20s right now, this might save you from learning them the hard way. When I was starting out, I thought success was just about hustle, working long hours, chasing growth, and saying yes to everything. But over time, I learned that wisdom compounds faster than effort. So here are the 28 truths I wish I knew earlier, and I'll share some personal lessons along the way. I'll break these into 3 categories: life, business, and leadership. Each one is a truth you can take, reflect on, and apply immediately with no fluff. Truth number 1, no one's coming to save you. I'll never forget when I first started, I was 23 years old. This was back in 2006. I just graduated college. My father helped me open my first location, but the only thing he helped me with was the financial help. Other than that, I was on my own. I had 0 students, and guess what? I had to figure it out all on my own. I didn't have the vast internet that you have now, but it is definitely a truth that you have to remember. When you are a business owner, when you own your own studio, you own your own business, you are on your own now. There's no manager, there's no owner above you that can help you out. You are on your own. Truth number 2, most people won't care how hard you're trying, only what you deliver. Goodness, this is such an important truth to understand, and most importantly, accept, because the customer doesn't see everything that's going on behind the scenes, nor does it matter. All that matters is, what did you deliver to that customer? Was it average or was it exceptional? So you have to make sure that your focus daily can be on effort, but overall, the focus should always be, did I deliver on what I promised to the customer? Far too often, we get too wrapped up on our intentions and what we are trying to do, but not really focusing on what we actually did. So remember, stay focused on delivering the exceptional product or service to the customer, and you will be fine. Truth number 3, discipline beats motivation every time. Oh my goodness, this speaks to me so much. I cannot stress enough, first off, that you are going to be so up and down every single day with your motivation, your emotions, and how you're feeling. Some days I feel like I'm on top of the world and I can conquer anything. Other days I have self-doubt and I'm thinking, why am I still doing this? Or even more importantly, I can't do this anymore. I'm not capable. That other person's better than me. I'm not built for this. I'm not naturally good at this. But what you need to do is build habits in your life, which are essentially discipline. Discipline's a myth. You only have habits. And you want to get those instilled in your daily routine. And then in no time, after time has passed, then you will see the fruit of your labor. But it's not gonna happen by you being motivated every day by drinking some energy drink and all of a sudden now you have motivation. Now I do drink caffeine because you know what, how do you live without it? But overall, you got to get those habits in order and get disciplined. And I promise you, you will not regret it. Truth number 4, your health is your foundation. Ignore it and everything collapses. This is such an important truth to remember, because at the end of the day, you are going to die. You are just a vessel that is dying. I don't mean to sound negative, but every day that passes, you're getting older. And remember, you can't cheat your body. Every time that you try to cut out on sleep or eat bad food, you're essentially robbing from the future. So you want to get in the habit, going back to discipline, of first, number 1, sleep. Getting enough sleep should be 7 to 9 hours, making that the first absolute habit you are not ever compromising on. And then second, your diet, making sure that you have a clean diet. You're not eating a lot of ultra processed foods, mostly whole foods, because this is the only way your vessel is going to be optimized and function and perform at its highest level. Think about it like a car. You cannot drive around a car that hasn't had its oil changed, the pistons are not firing correctly, and you are putting in sugar water in the gas tank, which essentially is what we're doing a lot of times, even as people, drinking too much sugar. But overall, you can't expect that vehicle to perform at a high level unless you treat it like one. And if you cheat on sleep, you eat like garbage, it will catch up to you sooner than later, and everything will collapse, I promise you. Do not skip the importance of your health. That is your foundation. Truth number 5, you can't fix your mindset in one podcast episode. It's a daily fight. The habit that I put into my life that was so influential was reading. You can see all these books behind me. As soon as I started, and I actually listen to books, I don't read them just because I forget what I'm reading. As soon as I made that a habit, my whole mindset changed so much, but it did not happen overnight. It took years, but you got to start now. If I was 23 again, I would tell myself, stop wasting time by watching TV and, for today, doom scrolling, and listen or read books, business books, nonfiction books. I mean, the fiction books are okay, but for me, didn't do anything. The nonfiction business books and those that are related to my big picture goal, my end goal of growing my business and scaling it. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Read books, listen to podcasts if you'd like, but you got to make it a habit. Truth number 6, failure won't kill you, but fear will. I am one of those people that is very risk adverse. I'm always weighing out every possible scenario, and if it's not a 100% success rate, I am very weary on doing it, and this is not a way to operate. Second is being afraid of failing. This is such a bad habit to get into because failure is only feedback. That's it. Success and failure are the same thing. They're just different types of feedback, and with failure, it will tell you what to not do again. Of course, don't do things that are going to give you lifelong consequences, like breaking the law and going to prison. No, that's not what I'm saying. But with business, there's a lot of things that I think we don't do because we're scared of doing it. And most importantly, we're scared of how it's going to make us look amongst others. Here's something you should start doing now. Stop caring what other people think, because at the end of the day, they only care about themselves anyways. And it doesn't matter what they think. The only thing that matters is what your wife thinks, your family, maybe even your friends. But if you're a God-fearing person like I am, that's what you should be thinking about. Not, I'm gonna look like a failure amongst other people if I try this thing out. Truth number 7, your 20s are for learning, not earning. This one is so important because when you're in your 20s, and especially if you're not married and you're single, what is your excuse? Especially to learn everything that is out there. I have 2 kids and a wife now, and my son has special needs. Oh my goodness, I remember when I was 23 years old, I'd get into the studio around 8, 9 a.m., and I wouldn't leave till 10, 11 p.m. at night, every single night, just doing whatever I wanted and what I should be doing for the business. But now I have to shut it down by 6 p.m. because I got family. Don't miss out on this time if you're in your 20s. You only have it for 10 years. Don't waste it. This is your time to learn, not to try to make a bunch of money. It will come if you level up yourself. So don't waste it. Truth number 8, stop waiting for permission. No one's going to hand you your moment. You will not get what you want unless you ask. Most importantly, not even ask. You've got to sometimes just do it, especially when it's something that you think that people haven't even asked for. I mean, Steve Jobs coined this term, people don't know what they want until you give it to them. So there's going to be times in your life that you have to just run with it. And again, going back to a truth that I talked about before about failure, what's the worst that's going to happen? They don't like it? Okay, fine. But sometimes you just don't wait around for permission. Of course, always be respectful and positive, but sometimes you just got to do it. So do it. Truth number 9, comparison will drain every ounce of joy you have. And I kind of touched on this before, but especially today, and I'm so glad I didn't have social media like you guys do today. Constantly doom scrolling and looking at people and their best moments and comparing yourself to them, and I can be guilty of this, very much so, is such a waste of time, and it will rob you of every ounce of joy that you may have in the moment. Guess what? It is ridiculous to compare yourself to other people because they are not you. You are only you. There's only one you. So even comparing yourself to somebody else, somebody different, is stupid because they're not you. And the only person you should be comparing yourself to is yourself. And more importantly, the self that you could become. Your better self, the self that's not lazy. That's who you should be comparing yourself to. I try to only measure my performance based on my effort for the day. Did I give my best every day? If so, I should sleep like a baby. If not, I should not. I did not earn my sleep. Earn your sleep. It's very important. Every day, earn your sleep, but it should not be based on what somebody else did because they don't mean anything to you. The only thing that matters is your best. How much are you pushing yourself every single day? That's it. Truth number 10, every habit compounds, good or bad. I've already touched on habits, but I'll touch on it again. Every single habit that you instill into your daily routine is either going to compound in a good way or a bad way. So for example, if you are drinking too much caffeine, that's going to potentially affect your sleep in a negative way. And if you don't get enough sleep, your health declines, mental health, physical health, all of it. And then you start to perform at a lower level. See how it compounded. Now, let's say you made a habit of reading every day. Guess what happens? You start storing knowledge into your mind and you start thinking differently, making better decisions for your business, and you start leveling up personally. But it all starts with choosing the habits that will compound in a positive way and not in a negative way. The self-discipline that I really want you to focus on is the self-discipline that happens when no one else is looking, especially in today's social media immersed culture. It's all about making sure that other people see you. And even if you're working for somebody, one of the things that I appreciate is when somebody on my team is working their butt off when no one else is watching. What I don't like is when a team member is working hard only when I walk by and they look at me out of the corner of their eye. That's not self-discipline, that's just called kissing butt. You should only be cared about the self-discipline that involves yourself, hence self-discipline. So what does that look like? Again, what are you doing when you're by yourself? How do you operate? How do you think? One of the challenges that I always give myself is as soon as I see something that needs to be fixed and it will take less than 5 minutes, then guess what? I'm gonna push myself to do it. For example, if I see the trash at my house in the kitchen full, I'm going to push myself to immediately take it out to the trash and not make my wife do it. Guess what? I hate taking the trash out. The whole process is just so terrible to me. Even though it's not even that bad, for some reason I hate doing it. But guess what? Who cares? Who cares if I don't like it? It doesn't matter. That's something else I want you to think about. Your feelings of the matter is irrelevant. What does it matter? What you feel about it. If you gotta do it, then just do it. That's self-discipline. So start focusing on doing things when you're alone that you know you should be doing, and especially those that you don't want to do. So here at KOMA Martial Arts, we have 3 locations, hundreds of students, I think maybe over 600, whatever it may be. The only way that we've built credibility in our community is through consistency. I've always said this, it's easy to be an all-star for a day, right? If you're playing a basketball game, whatever, you can get on a streak and make a ton of shots, but can you do that the next day, the next day, and the next day? Every week, every month, every year? It's very difficult to be an all-star every week, every month, every year. But it's only those who focus on discipline and the consistency of it. The consistency of delivering is how you build credibility. Now, of course, we're not perfect, but when you tell a customer that you're gonna do something, for example, you're gonna be open at this time every day, then you better do it. Because as soon as you stop and as soon as you start making excuses, guess what happens? Credibility goes out the window. So you want to always focus on delivering consistently the promise that you gave to your customer, and you will build credibility in your community. And guess what happens after you build credibility in your community? Money will follow. But remember, it's only through credibility first. That needs to happen, and then money will follow second. Don't try to flip it and try to make a lot of money in the beginning. That's just not the best thing that we want, right? Truth number one, hard work without direction is just motion. So many times I have felt productive because I just did a bunch of work, but then I look back and realized I didn't really do anything. And specifically, I didn't do anything that related to me accomplishing my big goal. One of the habits that I'm always trying to hold myself to today is taking time to plan, to figure out and decide what is the big thing I need to focus on today that's going to be related to reaching my bigger goal. There's a principle or an experiment that somebody did where they lined up dominoes and then they just double the size of the domino. And it's crazy how much it compounds when you hit the right domino down. So if you hit the little one, the next big one, then the big one, and then the next one after that, it's incredible how big the next one is, like even 6 dominoes down. It's like this compounding effect. The point of this is spend time to figure out what domino you want to hit down in order to hit the big one down the road. Truth number 2, you can't grow your business if you're always working in it, not on it. This is the premise of that classic book called E-Myth, which is on my wall here. And basically, it's about positioning and making yourself more of the owner as opposed to the technician. So in a martial arts studio, you have your martial arts instructors, you have the front desk person, maybe the program manager, whatever you call them, kind of doing the enrollments and taking the money. And then if you are trying to build your martial arts studio as a business and you're teaching every day, that's going to be difficult because that means you're not working on the business and looking at it from the outside, almost like a machine, and making sure the gears are tight, there's enough fuel to make the machine go, to operate. But if you're just a gear, who's watching the entire engine to make sure that it's not gonna blow and that it's operating efficiently and at a high performance level? So it's not gonna happen overnight, by the way. A lot of, I think, young people think, oh, I just gotta work on my business. Well, first off, you gotta work in it so then you know how it operates. But then after that, then you need to make a plan of how you can start allocating time to work on it and not just in it. Truth number 3, systems create freedom, not more hours. Systems are everything in a business. They allow you to scale and, most importantly, consistently deliver a promise with different types of people actually delivering the service or the product. So it ensures consistency. Think about like answering the phone. How do you make sure that when somebody at your business answers the phone that they do it exactly the way you want? Well, you should have a script. You should have them role play that script. You should test them on that script. And then whoever answers that phone will be speaking by that script. This will apply to the teaching, to your teaching on the mats, to ordering things. That way you have consistency. But if you don't have this stuff written down, then it's just a flip of a coin, and it's all going to be based on the person who is in front of the customer or doing the thing. Truth number 4, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. Oh my goodness, this one is so powerful. This is so important. When I first started, I kind of just winged it and I didn't track anything. Guess what happens when you don't track what you're doing? You don't know if you're doing good or not. And you don't know how to improve or if you're doing better than last year or just how you're doing in general. And if you don't track, guess what happens? You start evaluating on how you're doing based on emotion and not on data. So even just to be mentally sane, you gotta track things so you have a clear picture of how you're actually doing. And then it allows you to make better decisions based on data rather than how you're feeling. Truth number 5, people don't buy what you sell. They buy what they believe it will do for them. So think about this. Try to get in the habit of speaking to your leads and customers in a way where you're casting a vision for them on what your classes or your service is going to do for their child or even for them. Most importantly, what is it going to help them become? So if they are a shy person, I would say, would you like to be a little bit more confident in your life? Okay, yes. So then when you are enrolled in our program, if you give it a year, you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to see this person who's just so much more confident, and you're just going to be able to see it in your face. People are just going to come up to you because they can feel your confidence. Most importantly, you're going to start achieving your goals and overcoming those fears you had because your confidence level increased from our program. Do you see how I didn't talk about, so we are going to learn kicks and punches, and we're going to do some self-defense, and we're going to just have a bunch of fun here. Has nothing to do with that. You want to sell them on what they can become and what it will do for them. Truth number 6, cheap clients are expensive. They cost you peace. This one is so important and true. Oh my goodness. It's always the customers that want a discount and they're not paying the full rate that are the most high maintenance, the ones who cause trouble. Try to not get in the habit of discounting. Always try to charge the premium rate, because then you're going to get the clients who fit your culture, and most importantly, they see the value in what you're offering, and they're going to be most committed, and they're going to be following rules, and they're going to be the best clients. The cheap ones, the ones that don't pay full rates, end up being the most high maintenance. Truth number 7, saying no is the most profitable skill you'll ever learn. This one is such an important truth to remember, because whenever you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So you really want to get in the habit of knowing what you're trying to achieve, knowing who you are, and sticking to that. And anything that tries to pull you away from the path to attaining your big goal, then you got to say no. Warren Buffett coined this one. I can't remember what he said, but it was something like, you can really tell somebody who's successful is by how many no's they say. So really get in the habit of saying no and being very selective on what's, most importantly, stealing your time. Truth number 8, your team will never care more than you do, but they'll reflect your example. This, I think, is not something that people already know. Most people know this. If they don't own it, they don't care as much as you do. But they will reflect how you act. They will reflect how you behave. They will reflect and copy how you present yourself. Even here at KOMA Martial Arts, I start to hear my team speak like me, but that's normal. But the last thing I can do is, or I should be doing, is expecting that they will see this place, see my business like it's their business. Maybe they can to a certain extent, but they never can, because they can never fully care about it like that, because they don't own it. And you can't expect them to care as much as you do, because they don't own it. Their wallet is not on the line. Their livelihood is not on the line. Yours is. So don't expect it, but lead by example. And I promise you, you will start seeing a culture that you really want. Truth number 9, the goal isn't to build a big business. It's to build a healthy one. Oh my goodness. I keep saying this over and over again. This is the best truth. This is an important truth to remember. So many times you see on social media, oh, we're doing multi-million dollars, and then you find out they're frauds. Don't try to take shortcuts. Everybody's trying to take shortcuts and make millions of dollars in 1 month. That's not life. That's not reality. That's not how it happens. The goal is, in my opinion, you build a business that doesn't need you, that doesn't rely on you, that when you go to sleep at night, you're not stressed and you're not thinking about it as much, and you know that things are taken care of. Most importantly, you're providing true value to the customer. They feel that what they're paying is not enough, and they're getting the longer end of the stick. That, to me, is my goal. And that's how you know you built a healthy business rather than a big business. Truth number 10, you can't scale chaos. That is correct. Going back to the systems and processes and making sure you have structure in your business. If you don't have predictability in your business, you cannot scale it. If it's just random chaos, there's no way you're going to be able to scale that. You want predictability. When I was younger, I just winged it. Such a big mistake. I wish I knew the importance of documenting everything, looking ahead with the numbers, checking my books, and all the KPIs, key performance indicators every week, making sure that everything was humming along like it's supposed to and not being impatient. This is so important. You can't scale chaos. You gotta get things structured and in order so then you can scale it correctly. So early on, like I said, when I first started the studio, KOMA Martial Arts, I had to really wake up and get things documented, get things in order, so then I could rely on other people to consistently deliver the service that we're promising to the customer. I wish I would have done this earlier, but hindsight's 2020. Guess what? You have the advantage. Start documenting everything now, and if you don't know how to do that, pull up a YouTube video that will walk you through it, or hire a coach. By the way, I do coaching. This is not some sort of sales time in the video, but I do offer that. But find somebody who can help you. I promise you, it will do wonders for your business. The other thing that I do have to mention with running a martial arts studio is there's such a huge focus on getting new students, but there's not a lot of talk on keeping them. So you want to make sure that you do have scalable systems in your business, such as calling or contacting students who have been gone for 7 days or more, making sure they're getting their stripes on time, and really just having a real deep connection with your student base so then as soon as they're gone, they know that you've noticed. This is so important because it doesn't matter if you get a ton of new students, if they're all leaving out the back door, your business is not growing. One other thing that I think is important to mention is with a martial arts studio, you have to first decide why you exist. So for example, for us, we are all about helping our students learn how to lead themselves and then learn how to lead others. So that means we're gonna say no to certain things such as competition. So competition martial arts, competition taekwondo. We used to do a little bit of that. We don't do that at all because it doesn't fit in with what we're trying to do. So you're gonna have to get in the habit of saying no, like we talked about, but most importantly, to protect your standards. The other thing too is for us, we wanna be very professional and disciplined and just present ourselves in a premium way. That means our staff, their hair, their attire, their makeup, all of that needs to be very much presented in a professional manner. If somebody's wanting to have some long beard, no, that's not acceptable and that's not accepted in our culture. So we do that to protect our standards, so make sure you do that as well. Truth number one, leadership isn't about being in charge, it's about taking responsibility. A lot of times people will be very interested in becoming a leader. It's a hot topic, it's always a hot topic, but it's not that complicated. It really is first about getting your stuff together, getting your life together, taking responsibility for the result. Leaders take responsibility for the result. They don't blame external factors. If you're trying to get something done and it doesn't get done, guess what? It's your fault. Don't blame your team. That's something you have to remember is if you're the leader and your team doesn't do what they're supposed to, it's not their fault, it's your fault. Your fault, fully. You hired them, you can get rid of them, you can let them go, help them find another job somewhere else. So it's your choice. So if you keep them on your team and they're not doing what they're supposed to, it's your fault. So if you really want to be a leader, you got to first start by owning that result and taking full responsibility. Truth number two, people follow clarity more than charisma. The biggest myth that I have come to realize is that leaders have to be charismatic. That is not true at all. Leaders just need to be clear with their communication and provide clear expectations and clear vision of where you want the team to go. The type of leader that's like a cheerleader, rah, 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 and all that, it's short term. People will quickly find out that that is not a leader because a lot of times those type of leaders don't follow through. So you have to have that clarity in order for you to become an authentic, real, effective leader. Truth number three, consistency beats intensity every time. This is so important. You don't just say it one time or talk about it. You gotta live it. You can yell at people and you can, again, be the cheerleader, but guess what? Only through time and consistency over time is the only way that you're gonna prove yourself. Because people are always watching you as a leader, and if you're not consistent in the things that you are doing and that are aligned with what you say, you then are going to start losing your followers because then you are a hypocrite. So you've got to focus on that consistency. Truth number 4, you can't inspire people if you're burned out. Every day I ask myself, maybe not every day, every week, why am I doing this? Why do I ask myself that? Because I get burned out. I'm human. There's so many times I'm like, I don't want to keep doing this. It's been 20 years. Think about that. But the way you stay on path and don't jump off too early is by finding time to reflect and be grateful for what you have. Second is to build a team around you who can fill in when you need to take a break. When I take vacations with my family, it helps me recharge. So you've got to plan those out. And I always get the best work done right before my vacation. So that also is a hack that you can use, is by planning little mini trips to help you get motivated. But with getting burned out, be grateful first, and second, take breaks. Truth number 5, the people who criticize you the loudest are usually doing the least. There's going to be a lot of people who think they can do it better and talk about what you're doing in a negative way, but guess what? If they're talking, they're not doing, and you're the only one doing. So don't even listen to them, because I've fallen into that trap and really cared too much about what other people say about me. But what I try to do today is just stay busy, keep my head down, and keep doing the right things, hitting those dominoes over. And whoever wants to talk about it, who cares? Truth number 6, growth requires letting go of control, ego, and old versions of yourself. I'm a control freak, and that's one of the hardest things I've had to let go of, is full control. You have to trust your team. And second, you have to let them take the credit. Try to get in the habit of saying we and not I, because that is going to be the best move to build your business and also empower your team. And it's actually the truth. It's not you. When you build a business, you have nothing to do with it other than you're kind of steering the ship. Give all credit to your team. Don't take any. You don't need it, because your ultimate gratification is when you hit your goal. And who cares if people notice it or not? You should only be happy when you hit your goal. You should not be happy when people feed your ego. Get rid of your ego. Truth number 7, your reputation is your greatest asset. Protect it ruthlessly. Oh my goodness. So many times we have seen great leaders fall, and that is my top of mind thing I think about every day, especially as a Christian, a professing Christian. The last thing you want is that you do things that go against being a Christian. That is so important to me. So every single day I'm doing my best, praying, being in the Word, but most importantly, presenting myself as Christ would, because that is so important to me. But whatever your reputation needs to be, you got to protect it ruthlessly, because that's all you have. Protect it, protect it, protect it. Truth number 8, success without purpose feels empty. You got to ask yourself at the end of the day, why are you doing this? Why are you trying to build a business? Why are you trying to get 500 students? Why are you trying to make millions of dollars? Why? I had to ask myself that. I really did. And if it's because you just want to make money and you want nice stuff, that's not a purpose. That will not last. A lot of rich people, and some of them, you can tell they're just always searching for the next thing. They're never happy, having all these different exotic cars, and it's like, how many do you need? And it's kind of sad to watch. But then you meet these other ones who are a little bit different. And it's because they're not doing this for money, they're doing this for a greater purpose. For me, it's to be obedient to God and give Him all the glory. That's the reason why I'm doing it. And then second is to provide for my family. They're the reason why I'm doing this, not for myself. So you got to have that deep purpose to keep you going. When I first started, it was just me, obviously. And then I had a 15-year-old girl named Alexa, who actually I'm still in contact with today. So grateful for her. She was awesome. But early on, I knew that I needed an assistant, so I started developing her, teaching her, helping her learn how to teach. And I kept doing that as years went on, because I knew it was going to be worth my time, because I did not want it to be the Master Co show. I didn't want it to be all about me. So if you haven't started developing your instructors or developing one right now, you got to start doing that Because what happens when you're sick? What happens when you take a vacation? Who's going to be teaching? So start developing your instructors now. The other thing I struggle with every day is done is better than perfect. And especially when it's done by somebody other than me. Nobody is going to be able to do the task or the project like me. So I have to be okay with 80%. And that means that I'm going to let go of some of the little things that I think are important, because in the grand scheme of things, it's not. I'm the only one that notices it. So the faster that you can start delegating and elevating people and letting them take the result and run with it, the more you're going to be growing. So start learning how to delegate and elevate. And like I mentioned before, there are so many days that I don't want to do this. I feel very burned out. But when I go and walk out in the lobby and see classes full, and most importantly, when I hear parents come to me and say, oh my goodness, my child has improved so much from your program, I'm like, I guess I got to keep doing this, because that's the fuel. So many people have been transformed from KOMA martial arts. That's why I keep doing this. And most importantly, even my team, watching them become leaders. One of them couldn't even barely talk, and now he's leading all of our instructors. It's just incredible to watch, and that's what fuels me. What fuels you? I'm guessing it's the same thing as me. So always keep that in the back of your mind, especially when you start feeling burned out. If I could go back, I wouldn't change the failures. I'd just learn faster. And that's what I want for you, to skip the years of guessing and start building with direction. If you're building a martial arts studio, or you're serious about creating freedom and impact through your business, I share systems and leadership lessons like this every week. Subscribe to the channel, and if you're ready to take the next step, book a complimentary discovery call using the link in the description. During that call is where we can get to know each other, see if there's a fit, and if there is, then I can help you reach the big picture goal you've always been wanting for your business. Your 20s are where you plant the seeds for your future. Don't waste them chasing noise. Build something that lasts. I'm Bronson Co., and this is the KOMA Way.